Oh, g'day again. Okay, it's just discovered I've got a rust hole in behind my guard, and if this is an older car, I'd just get the welder out and weld it up right now and be done with it. But given this has got two computers in this car, and you don't want to hook the welder to it, you run a serious risk of burning the computer out, and yeah. So, you're supposed to disconnect them, but I go a step further than that. I remove them from the car altogether, just eliminate all the risk. But considering I've got another rust hole up the back, which I'm not ready to do yet, and I've also got I got a heater issue and a few other issues. So at some point, I'm going to have to take the whole dash out and fix these other issues. So, and do it all in one go. It just makes it a whole easier. It's a whole lot easier to get to the computer. You don't want to pull it all apart twice. Anyway, so what I'm going to do right now, because I don't want it filling up with water or getting any worse, I've already sprayed some rust preventative in there. And at some point, when I do go to weld it up, I'll go into a bit more detail, cleaning up and getting rid of the rust that's in there. I've got some, actually I'll show it to you. This is an Australian product. This is a rust converter that's not an acid, which means you can spray it inside your panels, leave it there, and it sort of dries, and it has a sort of a waxy coating. You can't paint over it without washing the waxy coating off, but for internal things like that in the sill, you can just spray it in there. It'll treat the rust and seal it, and job finished all in one go. So that's what I'll be doing. After I weld it up, I'll drill a hole in the back here and I'll spray it right in through the sills. I'll probably do the other side as well, even though there isn't any holes in that. But anyway, for now, I need to get this guard on. This car's got to be on the road in a day's time. I've got things to do. So I'm just going to put a patch over it and see. Got a bit of metal plate. I've already pre-drilled the holes. I've cleaned the burrs off the back and I've primed them. So we'll get that on. Get a couple of rivets in it. For some reason I want to sit there now. There we go. This is one thing when you're ribbon and patches, it really does to get at least a couple of rivets in it anyway. Preferably you can get them all in, because it will move that little bit. Sometimes you have to re-drill your holes. So, and I just had the rivet gun. This rivet gun's getting a bit sticky actually, because I've been riveting things that have had silicone behind it, and the silicone's actually pumped out into the gun and sticking it. I'm going to pull it apart and clean it out. Okay, it's not going to grab the rivets. Good one. Ah, dear. Yeah, this shit only happens when you're making a video. Okay. Well, guess I'm going to have to fix the rivet gun first. Okay, well, so anyway, you don't need to see me riveting it anyway. But yeah, I'll put 4 rivets in. I'll spray some more primer over the top of it, and then I'll I've got a bit of seam seal I'm going to put over it. Yeah, as I mentioned before, yeah, this is a temporary fix because I am going to weld this. But, you know, you can, like, you can do a permanent job with this. It actually works quite well. Like, you don't obviously do it in something that's structural, but, you know, say if you had, you know, like a rust hole on the bottom of your door, you haven't got a welder. You don't want to just bog it up. Like, bog it up. Bogging rust is just a waste of time, you know. You get 6-12 months, it rusts out, falls out again. You've just wasted your time. You have to get rid of the rust, you know, one way or another. So, you know, if you were doing a patch in the door, you didn't have a welder, you cut it all out, you treat it, you prime it. And this is a good primer. I keep mentioning this. I love this primer. It's red oxide. It's brilliant. And it's cheap. And that's the greatest thing about it. It's about the best primer I've come across, and it's also the cheapest. But, yeah, so, and then you rivet a patch on, you paint it again, seal it, putty it over, and it's permanent, you know. Yeah, as long as you've got rid of the rust, and you've treated everything else, and you've painted it all, it's never going to come back again, you know. It's a permanent fix, and like on the bottom of a door, it's fine. Yeah. Obviously, you don't do that in, you know, structural. See, I shouldn't even be, although this is sort of, you know, sort of past where it needs to be structural anyway, but even so, like, you know, this is only temporary, but, yeah, there are places where you can do this and places where you shouldn't. Now, in a door situation, what you would have, the issue here is if you put a patch over the top, for one, you've got the extra thickness of the metal, so there's 1/2 mil that is sticking out. That's 1/2 mil of putty you would need to put over it. You know, so for that 1/2 mil, you'd have to come back to here with your putty, just so it's not noticeable. But then you've got another 1/2 mil of a rivet head. So, you know, you've got to build up, you know, 2 mil of putty to cover it all. And, you know, tap it in, or you bring, you know, for 2 mil of putty, 2 mil height, you'd have to bring your putty right back to here, you know, just to be able to come up without it being noticeable. Or there is another way to do it, and I sort of, yeah, I just drew it out just to show you. It's easier to see a visual when you're trying to explain it. The other thing you can do is you get metal, so this is where your hole was, where you've cut it from. That's the edge there. This is your patch over the top, your rivet. And you put a lip in your panel. And, you know, that can be done with just a block like this. You get a block and you cut it out, or you get, you know, 2 bits of metal. Yeah, like one over the top of the other, bolting together, riveting, you know, whatever. And, or you find something that's already the right shape. But anyway, as I said, you get a dolly with a bit of a lip in it. And you clamp it on in some way, and you can use clamps to pull it in, or use a hammer and chisel and just tap this step into your panel. And then, yeah, when you rivet it down, everything is below the surface. And so, like, obviously your patch, you have to put, you know, like 2 mil of putty over the top of your patch, but that saves you having to, you know, bring your putty way back and have this rise in it that you've got to try and hide. So, yeah. But, yeah, I've done this several times in, years and years back, before I even had a weld light. So that's going back a lot of years, because I've had my welder for 25 years now anyway. But, yeah, one car in particular, I had this little Mazda, and it was rusted out. Like, it had a water lip, and, you know, a rise of about 2 inches above the water lip on the roof, and it was rusted out from there, you know, like halfway back along the roof. And yeah, that's all I did. Cut the rust out, cleaned it all up, yeah, inside and out, primed it, painted it, put a big long patch on it, and I'll put a rivet every inch. Yeah, a lot of rivets, there's probably 200 rivets in that patch. Painted over it, yeah, and I got rid of the car probably 3 years later. At the time I didn't actually keep cars for a lot long, but this little Mazda was it's just great. It was a little 1300 70s model Mazda, and it was just a great little car. And so yeah, as I said, I kept it for 3 years, and when I got rid of it 3 years later, none of it had rusted through again. None of it, the putty had cracked, nothing. It was still going good, and it's probably still good now, you know. So unless somebody actually stripped it back to metal, if that car's still going, the person probably doesn't even know that the whole roof line's full of rivets. And yeah. Anyway, as I said, you can do a permanent patch without a welder, but you have to get rid of the rust, and you have to paint it and seal it. And as I said, you know, like, yeah, you wouldn't do that in here in your pillar or somewhere structural, somewhere dangerous, but yeah, there are places where it's quite safe to do it. Anyway, yeah, as I said, this is a temporary thing, and I'll be pulling it out and welding it anyway at some point, but yeah, not that I really won't have to take the guard off again, but that's the way it is some doings. So yeah, got to get this car back together. Okay, thanks for watching. Hit the like, please.